And that's all cool and fine and dandy, you know? For us, we want people to see our bikes.
But the problem is when you teach them a lesson, it costs us money.
It was good. You guys did good. Just do me a big favor. Don't ever do it again.
Counting Cars turned a small Las Vegas customization shop into a global television brand. Millions of viewers watched Danny Koker and his team restore classic cars while building what looked like a close family business. But over the years, the show became connected to lawsuits, criminal accusations, sudden exits, and tragic deaths that changed everything behind the scenes. So how did Counting Cars become surrounded by so much controversy? Join us as we uncover the cast members who are dead or in jail in 2026. Joseph Frontiera became the biggest scandal in Counting Cars history. No person damaged Counting Cars more publicly than Joseph Frontiera. He joined Counts Customs during the later years of the show and handled accounting responsibilities inside the business. At first, viewers barely noticed him compared to louder personalities like Horny Mike or Roly Szabo. Then everything changed after serious accusations hit the shop. In 2017, legal filings accused Frontiera of using company money for personal expenses. Reports connected him to charges involving felony theft, misuse of funds, and forged financial activity tied to Counts Customs accounts. According to court documents, the business claimed thousands of dollars disappeared through unauthorized spending. The story exploded online because fans never expected a financial scandal inside a show built around friendship and loyalty. Even worse, reports claimed Frontiera vanished after a court-ordered repayment connected to the case. That disappearance fueled years of internet rumors about where he went afterward. What made the situation even messier was how many websites started mixing up cast photos while covering the case. His mistake created problems for other longtime employees who had nothing to do with the scandal. And, as we're about to reveal, they dragged Ryan Evans into the controversy overnight. Ryan Evans got pulled into a scandal he never caused. Ryan Evans spent years building some of the most recognizable paint jobs on Counting Cars. Fans respected him for his personality and detailed artwork, making him one of the shop's most trusted craftsmen. But after the Joseph Frontiera case exploded online, Evans suddenly found himself tied to accusations that had nothing to do with him. Several websites mistakenly used Ryan Evans's photo while discussing the felony theft investigation surrounding Frontiera. Because many casual viewers did not know every employee by name, confusion spread quickly across social media. Some fans actually believed Evans was the person accused of stealing from Counts Customs. The mistake frustrated both the crew and longtime viewers who understood the difference. The situation showed how fast internet rumors can damage someone's reputation, especially when television personalities become tied to criminal headlines. Evans stayed mostly quiet publicly, but people close to the shop defended him aggressively after the confusion spread. Horny Mike publicly called out the false reports. Michael Henry, better known to fans as Horny Mike, built his Counting Cars reputation around wild custom vehicles, massive energy, and his famous horned helmet collection. But during the Frontiera controversy, he stepped away from comedy and directly defended Ryan Evans. People close to the shop, including Horny Mike, pushed back against the confusion and defended Ryan Evans after websites used the wrong photo during coverage of the Frontiera case. He made it clear Evans had no connection to the allegations tied to Joseph Frontiera. The defense mattered because Horny Mike remained one of the most recognizable personalities from the series. Fans trusted him, and his response helped stop some of the confusion online. Moments like this also revealed something viewers rarely saw during the show itself. Despite the jokes and loud personalities, several members of the Counts Customs crew genuinely protected each other when serious situations appeared. At the same time, not every departure from Counting Cars involved scandals. Scott Jones walked away from the show. Scott Jones played a major role during the early years of Counting Cars. As the shop's original project manager, he helped organize builds and kept work moving behind the scenes, while Danny Koker focused on customers and television appearances. Then, between seasons 2 and 3, Scott disappeared from the series without any real explanation. Fans immediately started asking questions because the show never addressed his exit properly. Some viewers assumed conflict happened inside the shop. Others believed producers removed him for creative reasons. In reality, reports later suggested Jones returned to Tennessee and stepped away from television entirely. Unlike many reality television departures filled with public drama, Scott's exit happened quietly. That silence actually increased fan curiosity because viewers had grown used to seeing him regularly during the show's rise. Several reports later connected Jones to Tennessee businessman Dale Koker after his return home, though Scott himself largely stayed out of public interviews regarding his exit from Counting Cars. His disappearance started a pattern the series repeated several times over the years. Popular cast members would suddenly stop appearing, while fans received almost no explanation at all. And nobody sparked more questions than Roly Szabo. Roly Szabo vanished from Counting Cars without warning. Roly Szabo became one of Counting Cars' most popular personalities because he brought humor and energy into almost every scene. As the shop's detailer, he handled the final polish work on many featured builds, but fans mainly remembered his personality and his unforgettable accent. Then, after season 6, Roly suddenly stopped appearing on the series. The show never released a major statement explaining the change. That silence fueled rumors for years, especially because viewers considered Roly one of the core faces of Count's Customs. Some internet stories falsely claimed health problems or conflicts inside the shop caused the exit. In reality, Roly later focused on his own detailing business outside the series. He continued building a following through social media and car events, even after leaving television behind. His disappearance highlighted one of Counting Cars' biggest long-term problems. The show rarely explained cast exits directly to the audience. Characters simply stopped appearing, leaving viewers to piece together answers themselves. Another longtime figure connected to the shop disappeared in a similar way, except this case involved an older craftsman fans respected deeply. Harry Rome, Sr., left behind. Years of fan speculation. Harry Rome Sr., often called Grandpa on the show, represented old-school bodywork craftsmanship inside Count's Customs. Fans respected him because he brought decades of experience into the garage, and his quieter personality balanced the louder energy around him. Then he slowly disappeared from the series without much explanation. Because Grandpa already appeared older during the show's early seasons, many viewers immediately worried about his health after he stopped showing up regularly. Online rumors spread for years as fans tried figuring out what happened. Unlike reality television stars chasing publicity online, Harry Rome Sr. stayed extremely private. That privacy made accurate information difficult to find, which only increased speculation. What fans did know was that his son, Harry Rome Sr., also worked around the shop during earlier seasons, helping continue the family connection inside Count's Customs. Although the show never built major storylines around the Rome family, longtime viewers remembered them as part of the garage's foundation during the series' strongest years. But Grandpa was not the only important figure connected to the shop, whose passing later carried emotional weight for fans. Jimmy Aikau's legacy stayed alive inside Count's Customs. Jimmy Aikau never became as visible on Counting Cars as Danny Koker or Horny Mike. But his connection to the Koker family stretched back long before the television cameras came. He remained a longtime friend of the family and the father of motorcycle builder Shannon Aikau, one of the shop's most respected workers. After Jimmy passed away, many fans started revisiting older stories about the relationships that helped build Count's Customs before television transformed the business into a major attraction. People close to the shop often described Jimmy as someone who helped shape the loyalty and family atmosphere surrounding the crew during the early years. His passing also gave extra meaning to Shannon Aikau's decision to stay with the business even after the series slowed down dramatically. While many cast members moved away from television completely, Shannon stayed loyal to the garage and continued building motorcycles quietly behind the scenes. And he was not the only longtime employee who kept Count's Customs operating after the cameras faded away. Shannon Aikau and Kevin Mack stayed loyal after the show slowed down. As Counting Cars lost momentum and regular episodes became less common, several cast members moved into outside businesses or disappeared from public attention. Shannon Aikau and Kevin Mack took a different path. Both men stayed closely tied to Count's Customs even after the series stopped dominating television schedules. Shannon continued handling motorcycle work and custom builds inside the shop. Fans visiting Las Vegas still occasionally spotted him working around Count's Customs years after newer episodes slowed down. Kevin Mack also remained important behind the scenes. As operations manager, he helped keep the business functioning, while Danny Koker focused on appearances, music projects, and new media ventures. Their loyalty mattered because reality television businesses often collapse after production slows down. Instead, Count's Customs continued operating as a real shop long after the show's peak years. That stability became especially important once internet rumors about Danny Koker started spreading aggressively online. And by 2026, those rumors had become impossible to ignore. Danny Koker became the target of constant death and arrest rumors. Danny Koker built counting cars around his personality. He bought cars on the street, negotiated deals directly, and turned Count's Customs into one of Las Vegas's best-known custom garages. But after the show stopped airing regularly, strange rumors started following him online. Over the years, fake stories claimed Danny had died, faced serious illness, gone bankrupt, or even been arrested. None of those rumors proved true, yet they continued spreading repeatedly across social media and low-quality websites. The confusion grew because fans noticed the series slowing down without a major official ending. Viewers started searching for answers, and internet speculation filled the gap immediately. In reality, Danny stayed active through Count's Customs, music performances, business appearances, and new media projects. One of his biggest moves in 2026 involved launching a podcast called Count's Culture, where he started bringing in celebrity guests from both the car and rock music worlds. The podcast quickly pulled attention because Danny leaned heavily into the same personality that originally made Counting Cars successful. And some of the first guests showed exactly where he planned taking the brand next. Roly Szabo faced a major business blow in 2025. Roly Szabo played an important role behind the scenes during Counting Cars, helping manage business operations alongside Danny, while also co-owning Count's Vamp Rock Bar and Grill in Las Vegas. For years, Vamp became closely tied to Danny's public image. The venue hosted rock performances, celebrity appearances, and events connected to the Count's Customs brand. Then, in 2025, the business closed after roughly 16 years. The closure surprised many fans because Vamp had become one of the best-known rock bars connected to reality television personalities in Las Vegas. While businesses close for many reasons, The shutdown immediately fueled more speculation about Danny's finances and the future of the Count's Customs brand. Despite the rumors, Danny continued working publicly and pushing new projects afterward, including Count's Culture. Still, the closing represented another reminder that the world surrounding counting cars looked very different in 2026 than it did during the show's biggest years. And outside the main cast, another major reality television scandal connected indirectly back to the series through Pawn Stars. Chumlee faced serious charges before rebuilding his career. Austin Chumlee Russell wasn't technically a Counting Cars cast member. He was the lovable goofball from Pawn Stars, the History Channel show that spawned Counting Cars as a spin-off. But Chumlee appeared on Counting Cars multiple times, and his connection to Danny Koker's world made his legal troubles relevant to both shows. In March 2016, Las Vegas police raided Chumlee's home while investigating sexual assault allegations. What they found turned a sex crime investigation into something much bigger. Officers discovered crystal meth, marijuana, Xanax, and evidence of cocaine use. They also found multiple firearms, including assault-style weapons and rifles that Chumlee wasn't legally allowed to own. He was arrested and charged with 20 felony counts, including 19 drug possession charges and 1 weapons charge. He barely managed it, but the arrest changed everything about how people viewed the lovable Chumlee character. Fans couldn't unsee the mugshot or forget the drugs and guns. For a guy who'd built his career playing the comic relief on a reality show about a pawn shop, suddenly facing decades in prison seemed surreal. The sexual assault investigation continued separately, but police had enough on the drugs and guns to prosecute him on those charges alone. 2 months later, Chumlee took a plea deal. He pleaded guilty to felony weapons possession and misdemeanor attempted drug possession. The deal gave him 3 years probation and mandatory counseling instead of prison time. The judge warned him that if he got into any legal trouble before 2019, he'd face 3 to 5 years in state prison on the weapons charge. Chumlee kept his nose clean. His probation ended in 2019, and the felony charge was dismissed, leaving only a misdemeanor conviction on his record. The sexual assault allegations were dropped due to insufficient evidence. He rebuilt his career, launched a candy store, started podcasts with Rick Harrison, and stayed on Pawn Stars. But the arrest changed how people saw him. The fun-loving character had shown a darker side that fans couldn't forget. And while Chumlee eventually recovered publicly, the broader Pawn Stars world also changed dramatically heading into 2026. Rick Harrison and Corey Harrison took different paths. Rick Harrison remained one of the biggest names tied to the History Channel reality universe even after years of controversy surrounding people connected to Pawn Stars. Following Chumlee's legal troubles, Rick continued working with him publicly through podcast appearances and future projects tied to the franchise. Their continued partnership surprised some viewers who expected the scandal to permanently damage the brand. At the same time, reports surrounding the planned future direction of Pawn Stars suggested Corey Harrison may not have renewed involvement in upcoming projects connected to the series. That possibility added more uncertainty around a television franchise already dealing with changing casts and shifting audiences. For fans of Counting Cars, the situation felt familiar. Reality television shows built around close friendships often look stable on camera, but behind the scenes, casts evolve constantly as businesses, contracts, and personal priorities change. And that reality became obvious once longtime viewers looked back at how many original Counting Cars personalities had disappeared over the years. The show's biggest mystery was never about cars. By 2026, Counting Cars had become less about custom vehicles and more about the mystery surrounding the people connected to the show. Joseph Frontiera's theft scandal permanently changed how some fans viewed Count's customs. Scott Jones and Roly Szabo disappeared without clear explanations. Harry Rome Sr. faded from public view and sparked years of speculation. Chumlee's legal problems pulled another History Channel personality into criminal headlines. Meanwhile, Danny Koker spent years fighting false rumors while trying to expand his brand beyond television. At the same time, several loyal crew members quietly kept working behind the scenes. Shannon Aikau and Kevin Mack stayed connected to the shop, while Count's Customs continued operating long after the show stopped dominating cable television. That contrast became the real story of Counting Cars. Some people chased new careers. Some vanished from the spotlight. Some became targets of scandals and internet rumors. Others simply kept working. And years after the series peaked, fans still keep searching for updates because the world surrounding Count's Customs never fully disappeared. It just changed into something far more complicated than the version viewers first saw on television. One reason fans stayed attached to Counting Cars for so many years was because the series never felt completely scripted. Unlike some reality shows that focused heavily on arguments and staged drama, Counting Cars built a tension around personalities viewers felt they actually knew. Danny Koker looked like the passionate owner who loved every car he touched. Kevin Mack came across like the dependable manager keeping everything together behind the scenes. Roly Szabo brought comedy into tense situations, while Ryan Evans earned respect through the quality of his paintwork instead of constant shouting. That connection made every disappearance feel bigger. When somebody stopped appearing, fans noticed immediately because the cast chemistry mattered as much as the vehicles themselves. The series also benefited from timing. During the peak years of cable reality television, shows connected to Pawn Stars and the Las Vegas scene dominated History Channel programming. Counting Cars entered that wave at exactly the right moment and turned Count's Customs into a tourism attraction people traveled across the country to visit. Even now, clips from older episodes still pull strong engagement online because viewers remain curious about what happened after the cameras stopped following the crew every week. That curiosity keeps old rumors alive, but it also keeps the legacy of the series alive years after its biggest run ended. The pattern nobody wanted to see. Looking at all these departures, scandals, and disappearances together reveals something uncomfortable about Counting Cars. The show that entertained millions was also a workplace where embezzlement happened, where employees left without explanation, where media mistakes destroyed reputations, and where the pressure of filming while running a real business created problems that eventually became unsustainable. Behind the scenes, sources said the pressure of filming while running a real custom shop had become impossible to manage. Every car that went on camera had to be perfect for television, which meant rushing builds that should have taken months. Staff worked insane hours trying to meet filming schedules while also completing projects for paying customers who weren't part of the show. The drama that made good television, the tight deadlines and last-minute problems, wasn't scripted. It was real stress that burned people out. Add in the Joseph Frontiera embezzlement scandal, which created legal headaches and damaged the shop's reputation, and you had a business that was suffering under the weight of its own success. Danny Koker had built Count's Customs long before television cameras showed up, and he'd have to keep running it long after they left. At some point, he apparently decided the show wasn't worth the hassle anymore. The History Channel never officially canceled Counting Cars. They just stopped ordering new seasons. The last episode aired in 2021, and then silence. No farewell special. No reunion show. The series simply ended, leaving 184 episodes and thousands of unanswered questions. The 2021 cancellation wasn't announced because there was no good way to explain what had happened. The show had stopped being fun to make. Legal troubles, personnel changes, and the grind of production had killed whatever magic made the early seasons work. Which Counting Cars story shocked you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear them. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.